I made these niggas run. For my nigga, run 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 for my nigga, run. I bet I make these niggas run for my niggas just to blast off the blue steel, cap bill. You look at his man, and his man feel it's real. Out here, shitting is the fatter, open niggas doors to their crib.
Like a landlord.
Shit wasn't planned, God. Niggas tried home for me. I told this bitch to leave my house when she was trying to come for me. This bitch thought I did this, so she told her bro to run for me. Came on a fight king, but I wasn't. I made it run for me. Yeah, I got my gun out. Told this nigga turn around and have 5 seconds to run, or you gon' bang the ground. Took off, fell face first when he heard the sound. I ain't even hit this nigga. I think the sound was loud. Nigga wanted shot, and I never seen his face again. I did it by myself. I wasn't trying to catch a case again. Next day he called my phone on the 19th. Told him come on back. It won't be a sad thing. Run for my nigga, 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 run nigga, run for my ladies niggas, run for my nigga, 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 run for my nigga,
run from a nigga when I ride with the flip phone. Do a home invasion, get the fuck on them sit down. I didn't give a fuck about that bitch that he did down. She's sitting right there and I still slap this wig off. Yellow take the place, call the corner the fastest. Niggas say they want my head, well now I'm laughing. The bitch bump to the straight like fastest. And if you do, then the scene again drastic. Stressed out, who got a blunt? Can you pass one? Wake up every day with thoughts like it's my last one. These cops better free me for a cause hell. And I got more bars than the Don jail. Fucking wild, say bitch when I fuck the 9. There ain't no limit to this living, nigga. Fuck this guy, trust him why? I can't trust him, but I fucking try. Fuck these guys, I'm an 8, I'm better monkey lies.
Run for my nigga, 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 run for my ladies niggas, run for my nigga, 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 run for my nigga.
So that's how I'm feeling right now. That's me how I'm feeling. It's pretty much that. What the fuck am I doing? Probably get 2 little skinny ones out of this, but let's just make one.
Recommend based on just a few things I told them about my sleeping habits. So really, no matter how you sleep, I'm sure they'll be able to recommend a great pillow to you. Plus, right now, when you buy one AquaGel pillow, you get a second AquaGel pillow free. Get matched to your perfect pillow at Sleep Country or order online at sleepcountry.ca today. Sleep Country.
What am I looking for? Very confused here. I need this.
This is the FDR 680 News. Hey, it's 9:30.
Hey!
One for news in Toronto. This is 680 News.
Here are Scott Burnett and Caitlin Lee. Good evening. It's Monday, January 20th.
Here's what's making news this hour.
A boy is dead following a daylight shooting at Markham and Ellesmere. One person is in custody as police continue their investigation in Scarborough.
Additional safety measures are coming to Pearson and other international airports in Canada after China confirms a new strain of the coronavirus can be transmitted from human to human.
The Trudeau government throws some cold water on the idea of a prisoner swap to end the ongoing dispute with China.
The armed forces will remain in Newfoundland as long as needed. The military helping St. John's dig
You're
out
gonna go
after
to
massive
fucking,
blizzard
you're
dumped
gonna
76
go hard with
centimeters
fucking
of snow
China?
on the city.
Mr.
Norman
Drama
Powell
Teacher,
leads
you
the
don't know what
Raptors
you're
to
up
a win in
against.
Atlanta against the Hawks, as we'll get you caught up on day 2 action at the Australian Open. Sports at 45.
Giving up hope, a new study finds people no longer believe working hard will lead to a better life. We take a look. TSX
The working
looking
man's
all
a
right.
fool.
Another record high today for Bay Street. Business at 56.
Time 9:31.
Time for traffic and weather together on the Ones. Here is Kyle Hawking.
This report brought to you by 407 ETR. We've still got this problem on the eastbound 401 east of Leslie in the Express. The right lane is blocked for the collision, and it's heavy approaching Bayview Express and from Bayview in the collectors over towards Leslie. So it's a little bit heavier in the collectors now, but speeds are still much slower in the Express. So you'll want to make sure you take those collector lanes through this area between Bayview and the DVP to avoid the worst of those delays. That's your only problem on the eastbound 401. Westbound 401 had a minor problem west of the Allen and the Express clear. So once again, that highway trouble-free on the west 401. And no delays across it. On the 407, we have a minor issue. Eastbound 407 ramp to the 427. The left lane is blocked with a collision. That's before the point where it splits to go north and southbound. That east 407 ramp to the 427, left lane blocked there. As well, a ramp issue affecting the Gardner, or was eastbound Gardner ramp to Spadina, now fully reopened after a collision was cleared. And we've got one more ramp problem. The westbound Stillville Road ramp to the northbound 404 is currently closed. Crews are working on some snow and ice removal, but should only take another 10 or 15 minutes. If you're on the in-town routes, watch out for this closure around Ellesmere and Markham Road. We've still got all eastbound, westbound, and southbound lanes blocked at the intersection. Or as you approach it, is for a police investigation. 407 ETR drivers say they save 20 to 60 minutes per trip. 407 ETR manages traffic for an excellent driving experience. Visit 407ETR.com.
They're going to admit that they're not.
9:41, and with the forecast, here's the
Who would admit to paying money
We're
to sit in
digging out of
traffic?
the extreme cold and back to seasonal as we head into Tuesday. We'll start the day off at -9. Just watch for some lake effect flurries tonight. No accumulation expected. And tomorrow, a mix of sun and cloud, a high of -2. It's going to feel like -8 with that west-southwest breeze up to 40 kilometers per hour. Overnight tonight, we're down to a low of -9 degrees, wind chill -13.
Right now, downtown, a mostly clear sky, -6, feeling like -13. 680 news time, 9:33.
A teenage boy is dead after a brazen daylight shooting this afternoon. in
Brazen.
Scarborough.
680's Michelle Mackey joins us
It was
from near the
brazen.
scene at Ellesmere and Markham with word an arrest has been made.
Police responded to multiple reports of gunshots in the area around 3 p.m. in the afternoon, just as students from several neighboring schools were walking home.
Brazen. Certainly brazen.
Shortly after arriving on scene, police found a boy suffering from gunshot wounds. He was rushed to hospital where he later died. Inspector Susan Gomes says a male suspect was found within 20 minutes and he is now in custody.
I can't tell you as to who the victim is at this stage. I'm not aware of that information, nor if there's a relationship between the individual in custody and either of the ages or if it was school related.
Carol works in an office plaza at Ellesmere and Markham and is angered by the news.
It should not happen. Our guns, they should get more strict. I don't know how they're getting them.
In Scarborough.
Are you fucking retarded? What's the one thing got to do with the other?
Northbound Dixie Road has reopened just north of the 401 following a fatal pedestrian crash. The closure made for a rough commute home for many in the city. 680's Mark Douglas has more from the scene.
Constable Bancroft Wright says it happened around 2 in the afternoon right here at Dixie and Shawson Drive.
The victim is a 65-year-old male. As far as the vehicle that was involved, we understand that it was a coffee truck.
A hoodie and a pair of gloves were left lying out on Dixie Road. Investigators surrounded them with green evidence marking lines. No word yet about the possibility of any charges. All the northbound lanes of Dixie between Shawson and Britannia had to be closed for the investigation. On Dixie Road in Mississauga, I'm Mark Douglas.
Northbound Islington is reopened at Radford after a man was struck by a TTC bus around 5 o'clock this afternoon. Paramedics tell 680 News the man was taken to a trauma center with serious injuries. Those injuries, though, not believed to be life-threatening.
The prime suspect wanted in Peel Region's first homicide of the year has been found dead. Rakesh Bhai Patel was accused of killing his ex-wife, Haral Patel, whose body was found in a green space in Brampton last Monday. Peel Police Constable Heather Cannon tells 680 News the man's body was found on Friday.
He was, or at least a deceased person was located in the city of Toronto. And from that time, we did learn that in fact, it was confirmed to be Mr. Patel.
Police say his death is no longer being investigated and there are no outstanding suspects.
The Public Health Agency of Canada not taking any chances. It says it is actively monitoring that outbreak of coronavirus that originated in Wuhan, China, and will be implementing more safety measures at international airports across the country, including Pearson. 680's
They
Phil
have
Martino
not
joins
stated
us
yet
live
what
with
language the
latest
messages
from
are
the
in.
Chief Public Health Officer, Phil.
Scott, Dr. Teresa Tam says the risk of the coronavirus spreading to Canada is considered low, but the Public Health Agency will be taking those additional measures at international airports in Canada. This includes signage at Pearson, Montreal, and Vancouver.
In English and
reminding
French.
international travelers to inform a border services officer if they're experiencing flu-like symptoms. There's also an additional health screening question to be added.
And you know what happens
to
when you inform them of
electronic
that? They
kiosks
tell
in
you
these
you
airports.
should put on a paper mask, and that's the end of the
We
story.
should be able to essentially further identify people who might be at high risk or who are sick at the time of entry across the border.
Now, with the Chinese New Year just days away, this week is the start of China's busiest
The
travel
border.
season.
The
Currently,
border between
there are
China
no
and
reports
Canada.
of cases in Canada,
Yep.
and Public Health says it's not aware of any cases involving Canadians overseas. 4 people have died from the virus in China. The World Health Organization has planned an emergency meeting for Wednesday. So, Martino, 680 News.
In Canada's ongoing dispute with China, some veteran Liberal voices have been speaking out and calling for a prisoner swap to calm the tensions. But as 680's Parliament Hill reporter Cormac McSweeney tells us, the Trudeau government is throwing cold water on that plan.
It sounds like a suggestion from the Cold War. Several senior members of the former government of Jean Chrétien have been publicly pushing the Trudeau government.
They do it
to
today
release
in
former
Afghanistan and
CFO Long
Iraq
Joe
and all these
in
places, but
exchange
it's
for
from
the
the
release
Cold
of
War.
arbitrarily detained Canadians Michael Kovrig and Michael Spavor. Deputy Prime Minister Chrystia Freeland says their release is still a priority.
They swap prisoners with
Daesh
and Boko Haram.
But she says
But
Canada
not
has
China.
been clear it will follow the rule of law and honor our extradition treaties.
Our extradition treaties are not law.
Ms. Mung was arrested in December 2018 for extradition in Vancouver on U.S. accusations of fraud. Kovrig and Spavor were detained days later
9,
and
10,
languished in a
11,
Chinese jail,
12,
reportedly
13.
being subject to torture-like conditions. Cormac McSweeney, Parliament Hill.
680 News Time 9:38. Canadian Forces personnel continue to help dig out as the state of emergency resulting from a massive snowstorm in St. John's, Newfoundland stretched into its 4th day. Defense Minister Harjit Sajjan says the military will remain in the provincial capital as long as needed and could also send in reinforcements if necessary.
The Canadian Armed Forces will always be there at the time of need. If that need changes and we need more or need other types of equipment, those assessments will be done on the ground, and I've given the flexibility to the chain of command to be able to make those decisions very quickly and get the resources in to those Canadians who are affected.
A major blizzard that started Friday dumped 76 centimeters of snow on eastern regions of Newfoundland, largely paralyzing the city of St. John's.
In 30 seconds, we'll check the prices at the pump.
680 News Time 9:39.
24-hour gaming excitement awaits you at Casino Ajax. Test your luck on over 900 of your favorite slot machines and 50 electronic table games. Hungry? We have daily dining specials from 4 to 11 p.m. at spectacular prices, including T-bone steak on Wednesdays, prime rib and 2 lobster tails on Thursdays and Fridays, or shrimp and steak on Sundays. Must be 19 plus. Winner Circle Rewards
Shrimp and steak Sunday. Okay, so T-bone steak should be Tuesday or Thursday, no?
Now the 680 News gas price update, and Pro predicts the price will not change at midnight, holding at $1.14.9 a liter at most GTA stations. We'll check traffic and weather in 1 minute.
680 News Time, 940.
PC Optimum Points Days is coming. Our biggest, pointiest event ever. Last year, over 17 billion points were earned. But it's about to get pointier, honey. From January 23rd to the 26th, earn lots of points on grocery, beauty, gas, and more. Shop and earn at over 4,500 locations across the country, like your local Loblaws and Zehrs. Get the app or register at pcoptimum.ca to get the best points offers of the year. Restrictions apply. Visit our website for a list of participating locations and complete PC Optimum Points Days details.
It's an exciting new era in smart home security for homeowners and businesses across Canada. ADT is now ADT by TELUS. We're not just a new name. We're offering Canadians new lower pricing on smart security solutions to help automate and protect what's most important in your life. Say goodbye to the same old security options. Plans start from $25 a month with up to $1,000 in free equipment. Plus, sign up today and enjoy free monitoring for your first 3 months. Conditions apply. Visit ADT.ca for details.
Time 941.
Time for traffic and weather together on the ones. Here's Kyle Hawking.
This report brought to you by Mazda Canada. I almost can't remember a time when the eastbound 401 didn't have a problem on it. Now we have a new one, the eastbound 401 east of the 400 in the collectors, right in the basket weaver where the transfers are. We have the right lane blocked with a stalled vehicle. Tows and MTO trucks are on scene. It is slow here. Actually, it's not that bad here, just a minor delay in the area. However, it does get slow beyond that point as you head for the DVP east of Leslie in the Express. The right lane is still blocked with a collision, and more emergency crews have arrived since I was last looking at this. It is heavy from just east of Yonge in the Express and from Bayview in the collectors to east of Leslie, where this problem is. It's in the express lanes, but the collector lanes are also slow approaching the area with the visual distraction, of course. If you're traveling the remainder of the East 401, it's not bad. A minor problem just before Morningside, the East 401 approaching Morningside as you travel through this area, had a collision on the shoulder. Looks like it's off onto the shoulder completely now. Westbound 401, no problems across the city. It's in good shape. If you're on the 404 or attempting to access it, the westbound Stouffville Road ramp to the northbound 404 still closed for some snow and ice removal. We as well have a ramp issue on the 407. The eastbound 407 ramp to the 427. The left lane is blocked right near the start of that ramp with a collision. And also the northbound 400 ramps to the east and west 407. Those are closed for construction. Seeing a delay on the southbound 400 south of, actually just as you approach Highway 89. We have had 2 left lanes blocked in this area with construction, and it looks like they just set up a rolling block where they temporarily held all traffic. So it is jammed through this area, but now traffic is once again being allowed through, so it shouldn't be too long before it clears out a little. The 2020 Mazda CX-9 is designed to elevate every moment with three-row seating capacity, including second-row captain's chairs. Book a test drive today at Mazda.ca. Your next report at 9:51, and with the forecast, here's Natasha Ramsahai.
Overnight tonight down to -9. Few lake effect flurries will be on and off through this evening and overnight, but should be done and over with by the morning for Toronto. Might linger in through the west end a little longer. Tuesday, a mix of sun and cloud, a high of -2, so we're back to seasonal, wind chill -8. And on Wednesday, mainly sunny skies with a high of 2 degrees. The morning wind chill, though, -12, so still bundle up for that. Overnight tonight, we're headed down to a low of -9 degrees, wind chill -13.
Downtown Toronto, right now, clear, -6, feeling like -13. Over at Pearson, clear and -9. That wind chill, feeling like -14. 680 News Time, 9:43.
Every 3 minutes, a Canadian will be diagnosed with cancer. In February alone, that's over 17,000 people. Or enough to fill a hockey arena. Sign up for DrawFed today and raise funds for people affected by cancer in support of the Canadian Cancer Society. Giving up alcohol for a month might seem tough, but it will help people facing the biggest challenge of their lives. Visit drawfed.ca and sign up today.
The hunt is on. City TV. Lincoln Rhyme, forensic criminologist, obsessed in his pursuit of a diabolical serial killer known only as the Bone Collector, a master criminal who has evaded justice. Based on the series of best-selling novels by Jeffrey Deaver, time is running out to find a nemesis and crack the case that almost killed him. Lincoln Rhyme, Hunt for the Bone Collector. Fridays, 8/7 Central on City TV. This is All News Radio, 680 News.
is clear, -6, feeling like -13. Good evening from the 680 News Broadcast Center in downtown Toronto. I'm Caitlin Lee.
I'm Scott Burnett. Here are the top stories this hour.
A daring daylight shooting. A teenage boy is dead following gunfire this afternoon in Scarborough. Multiple shots were heard in the area of Markham Road and Ellesmere around 3 p.m. One person now in police custody.
Canada's Public Health Agency taking precautions against the spread of a new coronavirus at international airports across the country, including Pearson. This as Chinese authorities confirm the virus can be spread from human to human. 4 people have died in China of the illness.
The Canadian Armed Forces says it will stay in Newfoundland as long as it takes. The military helping St. John's to dig out after over 75 centimeters of snow buried the city this weekend, paralyzing the city.
For these stories and more, with the 680 app or head to 680news.com.
Now time for 680 Sports, brought to you by NorthTorontoAuction.com. From Sportsnet 590 The Fan, here is Rob Wong.
Well, Caitlin making 4 straight wins for the Raptors as they beat the Hawks 122-117 in Atlanta. Norman Powell scoring a team-high 27 points, which was his 5th straight 20-plus point effort.
I have confidence in my game and confidence in my shots. Taking the shots when I get to my spots and living with the results. I've said that many times. Just live with the results and let instincts take over and just play.
Fred VanVleet added 20 as the Raptors now host Philadelphia on Wednesday. At the Australian Open, Milos Raonic is off to round number 2. He picked up a straight sets win over Italy's Lorenzo Giustino. Coming up later tonight, it will be Canada's Felix Auger-Aliassime in action against Ernest Galvis in first-round play. Also hitting the court are Canadians Vasyl Pospisil and Leila Annie Fernandez on the women's side. Tough news for Toronto FC today as they open up training camp. Their captain, Michael Bradley, will undergo surgery tomorrow on an ankle injury that he suffered during the MLS Cup final against Seattle. He could miss up to 4 months' time. While tonight in the NHL, we've got the Panthers and Wild tied at 2s after 2 on Sportsnet. Earlier, the Avalanche beat the Red Wings 6-3. Sports at 15 and 45, past every hour or anytime on the home of Tim and Sid, now on TV and radio. Sportsnet 590 The Fan.
680 News Time 9:47.
It's always exciting at North Toronto Auction. Announcing we are now selling recreational vehicles at noon this Friday, along with small municipal equipment, off-site units, and salvage non-running vehicles. Bid online or live in the comfort of our indoor auction theater. Then Saturday at 9 a.m., the big show with up to 600 great used vehicles that fit any budget, plus light to heavy-duty government, utility, and construction equipment. All cars, trucks, vans, and SUVs come with a 60-day warranty. Excitement starts at NorthTorontoAuction.com.
Challenge accepted. It's more than a meme, a catchphrase, a saying. It's a call to action, a question, one that we at Seneca ask ourselves. What challenge are you accepting?
Being the first in my family to study in Canada.
Changing career paths.
Taking charge of my future.
Because we all do the hard work and have the relentless commitment to take anything on. An uncertain future, a changing economy, and careers that don't even exist yet. Join the Seneca Proud. Challenge accepted.
680 News Time 9:48.
We know the usual tips: frequent hand washing, avoiding crowds, getting a flu shot, but ABC's Jim Ryan reports one often overlooked item could be harboring some nasty bugs.
When someone says my phone's infected with a virus, they're probably not talking about the flu virus, but just consider
it's something that we always have in our hands.
But unlike our hands, says epidemiologist Mark Springer,
it's not something that we wash.
Killing the germs on your phone could be as simple as a quick swipe with a disinfectant wipe, because the flu virus, says Springer, is a bit of a wimp.
It's not that hardy of a virus. It's something that's fairly easily inactivatable by common disinfectants.
Jim Ryan, ABC News.
680 News Time 9:49. Toronto's tech sector continues to be red hot, something that comes as no surprise to Mayor John Tory.
The numbers show that job creation is happening in Toronto, with more than 46,000 new jobs created in the city just last year, with more than 65% of those being full-time jobs. The tech sector jobs are booming as well, with an increase of 16% compared to the year before. But as always, affordable housing and transit are the two main key issues when it comes to living and working in the city, and Mayor Tory knows it.
Reality is, both from the standpoint of things like transit, but also just the ease with which you can find your way in to the sector that is, most of it or much of it is downtown, but not exclusively. I think that is something we've got to continue to work at.
According to the survey, 42% of the jobs in the city are in the downtown core. I'm Momin Qureshi.
It seems damage to the ozone layer may have been responsible for half of Arctic warming over the span of 50 years. An international team of researchers say the findings of a new study highlight a group of very potent greenhouse gases as an unrecognized source of 20th century Arctic climate change. The gases are halogen compounds that destroy the protective layer of ozone in the upper atmosphere. They're also blamed for causing the ozone hole over Antarctica. In 60 seconds, we'll check the roads as well as your extended
950. Attention, Uber Black
We know that already.
SUV drivers. Your chance to unionize is here. Starting noon Monday, January 20th, vote yes for your union. UFCW Canada. Online voting ends Tuesday at noon, conducted by the Labor Board. It's your chance to gain job security, better pay, respect on the job, and a rating system that protects drivers. So, vote yes for your union. Find out more at ufcw.ca. A message from UFCW Canada.
Over the years, one develops a personal network. An accountant, lawyer, financial planner. Why not an automotive advisor? Since 1958, Audi Queensway has provided discerning GTA drivers with expert advice and attractive incentives.
Right now, enjoy a $5,000 Audi
Should I use the green Presto Press or the black one today, buddy?
complimentary maintenance package.
I'm Chris Lang, General Manager. My first piece of advice, a visit to 1635 the Queensway or AudiQueensway.ca. Drive well, drive safe.
Time 951.
Time for traffic and weather together on the ones. Here is Kyle Hawking.
Here I am. This report brought to you by Mark Feldstein and Associates. Well, shocking no one, the East 401 still has problems on it. I don't think we've had a problem-free East 401 since about 2 o'clock this afternoon. There's always been at least one issue right through the afternoon and into the evening. We did have a problem east of the 400 in the collectors. That one cleared, but the other issue is still there. East of Leslie in the Express, right lane is blocked with a collision. Crews on scene, and it's very slow from approaching Bayview Express and from Bayview in the collectors to east of Leslie, where those lane restrictions are in place. If you're traveling the remainder of the East 401, it's not bad right now. It's just that one problem we can't seem to shake. First, there was an issue in the collectors, and that one took forever to clear. And now we have this issue in the Express, and it's taking forever to clear. If you're on the westbound 401, their crews are just setting up a closure of the ramp to Leslie. I just saw them go by putting some cones down, so that West 401 ramp to Leslie will be closed for construction. Southbound 400, we had that heavy jam up by Highway 89 because of construction in place. It is still very busy through this area. Only one lane is open, but that one lane, once again, getting through. They did set up a temporary block for a period of time, and that's why it is still so heavy there. We've got the westbound Stillville Road ramp to the northbound 404 still closed for snow and ice removal. And, well, that's pretty well it. The rest of your highway's not too bad, except this minor issue on the eastbound 407. Ramp to the 427. The left lane is blocked at the start of that ramp with a collision. And still this closure of Ellesmere and Markham Road, a partial closure, in fact. All eastbound, westbound, and southbound lanes closed at the intersection, but northbound Markham Road is getting through. For all your personal and corporate tax accounting needs, call Mark Feldstein and Associates, Chartered Professional Accountants. Call from your mobile now at Pound Tax or online at markfeldstein.ca. Your next report at 10:01, and with the extended forecast, here's Natasha Ramsahai.
Temperatures tonight down to -9. Watch for some lake effect flurries on and off, pretty weak in nature here into the city. But we'll start off with wind chills of -13, a mix of sun and cloud in the afternoon, a high of -2. It is going to feel like -8 because we do have this breeze tomorrow up to about 40 kilometers per hour out of the southwest. Now, Wednesday morning wind chill around -12, so dress for that as you head out the door. But the afternoon, pretty mild, mainly sunny, above seasonal now at 2 degrees. And in fact, 2 is the lucky number. It's going to be 2 on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Should be dry Wednesday through Friday, but Saturday morning, a cloudy start. We'll be watching the evening for the return to some wet snow. Overnight tonight, we're down to a low of -9 degrees.
Right now in downtown Toronto, clear, -6, feeling like -13. Over at Pearson Airport this hour, -9 under a clear sky. The wind chill feeling like -14.
680 News Time 954.
This extended forecast is brought to you by Cold Drops. One drop for temporary relief of sore throat and nasal congestion.
Cold Drops.
Cold Drops are available at Metro pharmacies near you. This product may not be right for you. Always read and follow the label.
Hey, you. Yeah.
You want some free money? Transfer an RRSP or TFSA to Meridian before March 2nd, and you can get a 1% cash bonus. Real, genuine, free money. Visit meridiancu.ca to learn more. Terms and conditions apply.
The 680 News Insider Club. It pays to belong.
This week, you could win a $100 gift card to Szechuan, your destination for your favorite Chinese, Thai, and Japanese dishes. Located in Vaughan Mills, Szechuan allows you to taste a vast menu of flavors from all over Asia for lunch, dinner, dine-in, or takeout.
Visit 680news.com for your chance to win and to sign up for the Insider Club.
An art battle is taking place downtown tomorrow night. The competitive event will see artists battling it out to create the best work they can in just 20 minutes. As they work, patrons will be moving around the easels, closely watching the creative process. And at the end of the round, the audience votes for their favorite painting. After that, guests have a chance to bid in a silent auction to take the work home. The event takes place at the Great Hall and gets underway at 7:30 in the evening.
So art battle.
In 1 minute, we'll check in at the Business Center.
680 News Time 9:55.
Hey guys, have you been on medication or just feel lousy because of your weight? Sleep apnea, sciatica, I had it all. Until I met the team at Harvey Brooker Weight Loss for Men. I'm Pat Carano, a 51-year-old accounting professional from Woodbridge, and I'm telling you, losing my 152 pounds has changed my life. Come and see how we do it. Losing weight together and keeping it off. Change your life. Call now, 416-222-9887, harveybrooker.com. If you could do it alone, you would have done it already.
I joined because I wanted to help others.
To be a part of something bigger.
To show my kids what's important.
I joined to make my community stronger.
To make a difference in someone's life.
To acknowledge that our freedoms come at a cost.
I joined to honor my mom.
My grandpa.
My neighbor.
Everyone who served.
Who are serving still.
Honoring veterans is our duty. Join today at legion.ca/join.
680 News Time 9:56.
Now time for your business report. Here is Richard Southern.
Good evening. A big study has found, get this, most people now no longer believe working hard will lead to a better life. Getting dour. The 2020 Edelman Trust Barometer found that despite a reasonably strong economy, most people in all developed markets don't believe they're going to be any better off 5 years from now. 56% think capitalism in its current form does more harm than good. 83% of employees are worried, they say, about job loss because of automation, because of what they think is a looming recession, and because of cheaper foreign competition. Nearly 2/3 feel the pace of technological change is just too fast. All right, we've had some interesting corporate news, big name change here. Disney dropping the word Fox from 21st Century Fox. Disney paid more than $71 billion in 2018 for a controlling stake in 21st Century Fox, but it didn't buy Fox News. And therein is the crux of this. Wall Street Journal reports Disney is tweaking the name so there's no confusion about Fox News and its film studios. 20th Century Fox will be known now as 20th Century Studios, and Fox Searchlight Pictures will be named simply Searchlight Pictures. Well, traders on Bay Street didn't have to search very far to find a strong trading day. We had the TSX
71 billion,
record high, adding 38 points to 17,597. At 6 records in a row now, the index up 3.1% on the new year already. Bombardier up almost 9%. Ballard Power continues its ascent, up another 3.5% at $16.29. No action on Wall Street. The financial markets in the United States were closed for the Martin Luther King Jr. holiday. Oil traded electronically, and it was higher to $58.71. And gold was up to $1,560. Canadian dollar higher as well to 76.65 cents US. Top stories mere moments away on 680 News.
Aaron Park.
Janine, what's the best part of buying a car through Aaron Park Lexus?
The customer service. I'm a salesperson, so I use Lexus as a comparison to giving good customer service.
It's that standard of excellence, right?
Yes, and I actually talk about the Lexus experience with customer service reps in our company that we're training.
Aaron Park.
Now during January, get $2,000 incentive on all 2020 RX 350s with 1.9% lease rates up to 39 months.
Aaron Park.
A house is only as strong as its foundation, and windows are only as good as their frame. Hi, I'm Tom Rokicki of Inline Fiberglass. The facts prove it. Fiberglass window frames are 8 times stronger than vinyl and a far more durable material. That's part of the reason why we change thousands of vinyl windows every year, and some windows aren't even 10 years old. Choose the windows that are energy efficient and built to last. Visit us at our Factory Direct showroom or at inlinefiberglass.com.
Now, 680 News regional weather conditions for kidneycar.ca. Your old car can help support life-changing medical research. Don't let it sit in your driveway forever. Your car has a higher calling. Donate at kidneycar.ca.
Checking your regional conditions in Mississauga, -6, feels like -11, partly cloudy. Downtown Toronto, -6, feels like -13 and clear. It's -9 in Brampton. 680 News Time, 10 o'clock.
Number 1 for breaking news, traffic, bad weather. This is 680 News, Toronto.
Here are Scott Burnett and Caitlin Lee.
Good evening. This is Monday, January 20th.
Here's what's making news this hour.
Boy is dead following a shooting in Scarborough that happened in broad daylight. Toronto Police Homicide Squad has taken over the investigation.
China says a new strain of the coronavirus can now be transmitted from human to human. The Public Health Agency of Canada says it will be taking additional measures at international airports in Canada, including Pearson, out of an abundance of caution.
A woman found dead in Brampton 1 week ago, and now her ex-husband, the only suspect in the case,
The deceased person was located in the city of Toronto.
is dead as well. Peel Regional Police explain.
Canadian Armed Forces heading out east to battle the almost 80 centimeters of snow that buried parts of Newfoundland and Labrador.
A big fourth quarter for the Raptors leads them past the Hawks in Atlanta as it's a busy night for Canadians at the Australian Open Sports at 15.
The mysterious respiratory virus in China is moving financial markets. We're looking at the big surge for pharmaceutical stocks. TSX notches another record high. Business 20 seconds.
News Time, 10:01.
Time for traffic and weather together on the ones over at the traffic center. We say good evening, Greg Gear.
Hey, good evening, Scott and Caitlin. This report brought to you by Queens Smith MBA in Toronto. So 3 problems out there. So eastbound 401 east of the 400. That issue in the collectors has cleared away. But we still have the one that's just east of Leslie in the Express. The right lane is blocked here by this crash. Tows are on scene, emergency crews as well. It's very, very slow getting by this problem. We're looking at delays from approaching Bayview in the Express and also from Bayview in the collectors. It's slow getting by. Everyone taking a look as well. A bit of construction out there on the eastbound 401 through Markham Road in the Express. They've taken the 2 left lanes away now. MTO in that process of shutting down that second lane. We have a crash on the eastbound 407 ramp to the 427. Left lane is blocked. And our third problem is the southbound 400 as you approach 89. The 2 left lanes are blocked here for construction, and that's causing a really slow drive, just a single lane getting by. We had some snow removal happening on the westbound Stouffville Road ramp to the north 404. That's been cleared away, so you can now use this ramp. Some new construction on the westbound QEW at Hurontario. It's setting up in the right lane, and that's also blocking the northbound Hurontario ramp onto the eastbound QEW. Earn your MBA from Queens Smith School of Business right here in Toronto. Find out more at smithmbaintoronto.com. Your next report is at 10:11, and with the forecast, here's Natasha Ranzahai.
A few lake effect flurries this evening and overnight. That's going to taper off. We should be dry by the morning. Just a slight chance of those flurries lingering out through the west end. Mainly cloudy to start, -9, and the afternoon a mix of sun and cloud with a high of -2. A breeze out of the southwest making it feel like -8. Tonight we're down to a low of -9 degrees. Right now in downtown Toronto, -6, feels like -13 and clear. At Pearson Airport, partly cloudy, -6. 680 News Time, 10:03.
A teen boy has died following a shooting in broad daylight.
It happened near Markham Road in Ellesmere in Scarborough. 680's Michelle
Pointing
Mackey
out that
has
it was
more from the
daytime.
scene with the latest from Toronto Police.
Multiple calls came into police just after 3 in the afternoon as shots rang out near Markham and Ellesmere on a clear, sunny day. Hula works in a neighboring office building.
Clear sunny days, January.
Gunshots. When police arrived on scene, they found a teen boy suffering from gunshot
4
wounds.
different ways to
He
try
was
to
rushed
point
to a
out it was
trauma center
daytime.
in life-threatening condition and was later pronounced dead. Inspector Susan Gomes says police were able to quickly locate a suspect.
Shortly thereafter, within 20 minutes, one male person was in custody.
Police urge anyone with information to come forward. The homicide unit continues their investigation. In Scarborough, I'm Michelle Mackey.
680 News Time, 10:04. Pearson Airport will be one of several international airports across the country taking precautions against the spread of a new strain of coronavirus. Chinese authorities confirming the sometimes deadly illness can be transmitted from human to human. 680's Phil Martino joins us live with the latest. Phil.
Scott, Dr. Theresa Tam, Chief Public Health Officer, says the Government of Canada is actively monitoring the outbreak of the coronavirus.
While the risk of the disease spreading to Canada is considered low, the Public Health Agency of Canada is analyzing any potential risks to Canadians on a continuous basis. Currently, there are no reports of cases in Canada of this novel coronavirus, and we are not aware of any cases involving Canadians overseas.
She says in the coming days, they'll be taking additional measures at international airports in Canada. This includes signage at Pearson, Montreal, and Vancouver, reminding international travelers to inform a border services officer if they're experiencing flu-like symptoms. Plus, an additional health screening function will be added to electronic kiosks in these airports. 4 people have died from the virus in China. Phil Martino, 680 News.
680 News Time, 10:05. A man is dead after being struck by a vehicle in Mississauga. It happened just after 2 o'clock this afternoon at Dixie Road and Shelson Drive. That's north of the 401. Peel police say the pedestrian was rushed to hospital where he later died. Roads were closed for several hours for the investigation. They have since reopened.
A suspect wanted in Peel Region's first homicide of 2020 has been found dead. The Toronto man was accused of killing his ex-wife, whose body was found in Brampton last week.
A 28-year-old woman, Hiral Patel, was found dead in Brampton 1 week ago. A warrant for first-degree murder was issued soon after, naming her ex-husband, 36-year-old Rakesh Bey Patel, as the only suspect, and now he is dead as well.
He was, or at least a deceased person was located in the city of Toronto, and from that time, we did learn that in fact, it was confirmed to be Mr. Patel.
Constable Heather Kennan from Peel Regional Police says his death is not considered a crime, but she could not confirm if he took his own life. But either way, with the only suspect now gone, where does this leave the investigation into Hiral Patel's death?
That doesn't mean that case is closed. So we have investigators in our Homicide and Missing Persons Bureau that are still actively investigating.
The ex-husband was found dead Friday in Etobicoke. From Peel Police Headquarters in Mississauga, I'm Mark Douglas.
680 News Time, 10:07. Help has arrived in storm-struck Newfoundland. Ottawa sending in the troops after the biggest blizzard the province has ever seen. Priority number 1, clearing upwards of 75 centimeters of snow. Karen Seolin of City News has the story.
Around 450 Army personnel will be on the ground digging out and making their way to vulnerable residents still trapped inside their own homes.
Right now, it's about giving confidence to the folks who are affected by this massive snowfall. The Canadian Armed Forces will always be there at the time of need.
RCMP in a town about an hour away from St. John's, searching for a 26-year-old man who went missing during Friday's storm, desperately hoping he will be found inside a vehicle or shed, alive. The military moves in as St. John's got hit with even more snow on top of the record amount that's already fallen.
When you're talking about 75, 76 centimeters of snow, you think that would absolutely clobber the record. But the record for the 17 is 68 centimeters back from 1999.
For City News, I'm Karen Seolin.
Canada's Deputy Prime Minister seems to be throwing cold water on the latest suggestion to end the ongoing dispute with China, a prisoner exchange. It comes as the extradition hearing for a prominent Huawei executive begins in Vancouver.
In recent days, several senior figures from the Chrétien government have written op-eds or spoken publicly about the possibility of ending the dispute with China through a prisoner swap, basically sending Huawei CFO Meng Wanzhou back to China to secure the release of Michael Kovrig and Michael Spavor, the 2 Canadians arbitrarily detained in China after Ms. Meng's arrest at the request of the Americans. Deputy Prime Minister Chrystia Freeland was asked at a cabinet retreat in Winnipeg if this is something the government would consider.
Our government has been clear that we are a rule of law country and that we honor our extradition treaty commitments.
Ms. Meng was detained in Vancouver in December of 2018. The 2 Michaels were arrested just days later. Cormac McSweeney, Parliament Hill.
Coming up in 30 seconds, we'll check on the price at the pumps.
680 News Time, 10:09. This is 680 News.
I just switched my variable mortgage to a 2.54 fixed rate at Butler Mortgage.
I thought variable mortgages were always the way to go.
They were for 20 years, but not now. I was at 3.25%, switched to a 5-year fixed 2.54% at Butler Mortgage. Very easy process and saving thousands a year.
If you currently have a variable rate mortgage, Butler Mortgage is 2.54% 5-year fixed. Appraisal and legal fees are covered. License number 12118, 5-year fixed rate, APR 2.56%.
Now the 680 News gas price update. Pro predicts the price at the pumps will not budge at midnight, holding at $1.14.9 a liter. In 60 seconds, traffic and weather.
680 News Time, 10:10.
Catch all the excitement of your favorite slots and table games at Casino Woodbine. Sign up for a free One Rewards membership today, and you could be eligible to get your first $250 on us. Need a lift? We've added new Toronto shuttle bus routes that will take you right to our front doors. Must be 19 plus. Rewards membership required. If you gamble, play smart. Casino Woodbine. Toronto's home for gaming and entertainment.
For most, the new year is about making changes, wiping the slate clean, and starting fresh. And this is exactly what Lando Lighting is doing. Announcing Lando Lighting's January sale. They've dramatically reduced the prices on their in-stock inventory in order to make room for some exciting new arrivals. Save up to 50% on all indoor and outdoor lighting fixtures for your home. Lando Lighting's January Wipe the Slate Clean sale on now. 210 Clarence Street, Brampton.
680 News Time, 10:11.
Traffic and weather together on the ones. Great year.
This report is brought to you by Lavelle. So our problem on the eastbound 401 east of Leslie in the Express has cleared away. It was a crash. It's gone. So these delays are also starting to disappear. We have construction farther along at Markham Road in the Express on the eastbound side of the 401. They've got the 2 left lanes closed right now. So if you want a construction-free drive, you can take the collectors. It seems to be moving well through here, though, but it could jam up if, the crews start moving about, whatnot. Eastbound 407 ramp to the 427 left lane is blocked here by a crash. And then we have a few ramps that are closed as well. Westbound 401 ramp to Leslie, that's been blocked off. Traveling northbound on the 400, the ramp to the 407, both directions. You can't get on it. And then construction on the north 400 approaching Highway 89 in the left lane. We had some delays along the construction approaching 89 on the south 400, where it's just a single right lane open, but it seems up to speed through here again. So that's some good news. We have one other ramp that's closed, northbound Hurontario ramp onto the eastbound QEW. And Ellesmere at Markham Road, we have some lanes blocked here still for a police investigation. Experience Winterlicious in style at Lavelle on King West. Japanese Brazilian fusion cuisine, breathtaking city skyline views, a rooftop experience like no other. Reservations at shaylavelle.com. Your next report is at 10:21 with the forecast. Here's Natasha Ramzai.
Temperatures tonight down to -9. We do have a few lake effect flurries in place through this evening and overnight, even into tomorrow morning and through the west end. But tomorrow should be dry for Toronto, a mix of sun and clouds, southwest wind up to 40 kilometers per hour, a high of -2, feeling like -8. And it's going to be a pretty nice afternoon on Wednesday, mainly sunny and 2 degrees. Just watch that morning wind chill. It's going to sit right around -12. Overnight tonight, we're down to a low of -9 degrees.
Right now in downtown Toronto, -6 and clear. It's also -6 in Pearson and partly cloudy. 680 News Time, 10:13.
Experts in Amsterdam have confirmed that a Vincent van Gogh self-portrait was indeed painted by the Dutch master as he recovered in a French mental asylum. Questions about the painting arose in the 1970s. The use of a palette knife to flatten brush strokes on Van Gogh's face, and what were then considered to be unusual colors in the painting led to speculation about its authenticity. But Van Gogh Museum researcher Louis Van Tilbro dispelled the doubts earlier today. Coming up in 60 seconds, we'll recap your top stories. 680 News Time, 10:14.
At Capital Direct, all of our clients share a common trait or two. They are doing very well. They own their own homes, and they have a sense of urgency. Something's come up. They've got a special home project. They want to pay down taxes, or they just want to get started saving on interest. If you've got something you would like to urgently take care of, call Capital Direct today at 1-800-NEW-CAPITAL. CapitalDirect.ca.
Your insurance denied your disability claim, and the bills from the holidays and everyday living are piling up. What are you going to do? Who can you call? Call me, Aaron Waxman, at 416-661-4878. And don't worry about upfront legal fees, because there are none. I'm going to get paid when you get paid. And before you call, you should always remember that there are no bad questions. 416-661-4878 or on your cell phone at pound LTD.
This is All News Radio, 680 News.
Clear sky in downtown Toronto, -6. That wind chill, though, feeling like -13. Good evening from the 680 News Broadcast Center. I'm Scott Burnett.
And I'm Caitlin Lee. Here are the top stories this hour.
Toronto police investigating up in the cold tonight after a teen boy was shot and killed in broad daylight near Markham Road in Ellesmere and Scarborough. A man has been taken into custody. Hoping to keep Canada healthy, more safety measures will be put in place at the country's international airports, looking to catch any suspected cases of the deadly coronavirus originating out of Wuhan, China. And Canadian Forces personnel armed with shovels helping dig out parts of eastern Canada. A state of emergency for St. John's, Newfoundland now on its 4th day after the region got hit with close to 80 centimeters of snow over the weekend. 680 News Time, 10:15. Time for 680 Sports. We're having a sports at 5 fan. Rob Waller.
Scott, the Raptors held a 21-point lead in the fourth quarter and hung on to beat the Hawks 122-117. Norman Powell scoring 27 points, 17 of them in the final frame. Head coach Nick Nurse says the play of his bench was the difference.
Second unit came in and did a great job. They took a big deficit to a really big lead, so we needed all of it there in the end.
Fred VanVleet added 20 points as Trae Young scored 42 for Atlanta in the loss. Happening now at the Australian Open, one Canadian in action. It's Felix Auger-Aliassime, the 20 seed, taking on Ernest Galvis, and they are currently tied at a game apiece in the opening set. Earlier tonight, it was Milos Raonic advancing with a straight sets win. And Toronto FC captain Michael Bradley is set to undergo surgery tomorrow on his ankle. He could miss up to 4 months. He suffered the injury back in November in the MLS Cup final against Seattle. Sports at 15 and 45, past every hour or anytime on the home of Tim and Sid, now on TV and radio. Sportsnet 590 The Fan.
680 News Time, 10:16.
Hi, Pam Friedman here. Steve and I are always amazed at people's reactions when they walk into our great stores. The best selection in sofas, sofa beds, sectionals, chairs, recliners, and theater seating. So many decisions for us to help you with. And like generations before them, that's when they become customers for life. Customize your seating your way and pay no tax all this week at all 5 great locations.
Maybe you don't know where to start. Maybe tomorrow's goals feel so far away. What if we told you that maybe you're closer than you think? That a simple conversation can spark something amazing. Your savings and investments can stand for so much more when they don't stand still. And Scotiabank can help every step of the way. Energize your investing. You're richer than you think.
I'm not going to tell her shit.
680 News Time, 10:17.
It's the eve before a one-day strike that will close the province's Catholic schools, as well as the public high schools and elementary schools in several boards across Ontario. Education Minister Stephen Lecce spoke out this afternoon, saying he still thinks a deal can be negotiated.
We continue to make the case that these strikes hurt kids, and with the hope that it will cease this escalation, which has had a very, I would argue, adverse impact on learning and on the student experience. It's had a financial challenge to impose hardship on parents in this province.
There were no classes at public elementary schools in Toronto, York Region, and Ottawa today because of a one-day strike. Britain's Prime Minister is telling African leaders at an investment summit that the UK is open for business, but not at the expense of the environment.
Boris Johnson says one area of change, no more support for coal.
From today, the British government will no longer provide any new direct official development assistance, investment, export credit or trade promotion for thermal, coal mining or coal power plants overseas.
But he pledged to be a close partner with African nations as he eyes fresh trade deals across the globe. I'm Tom Rivers at the ABC News Foreign Desk in London.
Anti-government protests that have roiled Lebanon for 3 months turned violent over the weekend, rioting in Beirut, leaving hundreds of people injured and causing extensive damage to public and private property. Reporter Ian Pennell from ABC News says the country is in the grip of a crippling economic crisis, and banks and financial institutions were a popular target.
The sad reality is that a lot of the savings that were deposited in banks here, a lot of the dollars that were put in, are no longer there. And so that's what's making people really angry. And that's why we saw some of the banks being attacked, some of the financial institutions, some of the companies that represent the business elites.
The rising violence comes amid political deadlock. A month after his nomination, Lebanon's prime minister designate has still not been able to form a new cabinet. You're with All News Radio 680 News at 10:19. It was a good weekend for Bad Boys. The sound would be good, man.
Bad Boys with a great weekend at the box office. An estimated $73.4 million holiday weekend opening in North America, smashing expectations, which the studio, Sony, put at $38 million. That's the second best January debut of all time and the best R-rated opening ever for Sony. Meanwhile, some are calling Doolittle a disaster.
It is very bad.
Robert Downey Jr. Animal Adventure opening to just under $30 million, which had a reported $175 million to make. Universal may be looking at a loss of millions of dollars. Jason Nathanson, ABC News, Hollywood.
In 30 seconds, traffic and your extended forecast.
680 News Time, 10:20.
Hi, I'm Drew Green, CEO of Indochino. We think made-to-measure clothing in the highest quality fabric should be affordable for everyone. We've transformed everything about the custom clothing experience to be able to bring you the luxury of custom-tailored suits, coats, and shirts at impressively fair prices. And right now, get an extra $30 off when you spend over $400 with code NEWS at Indochino.com or any Indochino showroom. Indochino, made to measure, made affordable.
At Canadian Men's Clinic, we've treated erectile dysfunction for 22 years. The big difference is we are patient-focused, not profit-focused. Our acoustic wave therapy can provide a cure for some men and costs only $99, while other clinics offer the exact same treatment for 5 times as much.
Hold on. Is
some
this
of
the
our
one that
options
works?
cost as little as $5, and there's no
I don't
consultation
think it
fee to
counts
see a
if it doesn't
doctor for
work.
ED. Find us at mensclinic.com or call 1-888-636-7377.
680 News Time, 10:21.
Time for traffic and weather together. All the ones with his eyes on the road. Quick gear.
This report brought to you by Alterna Savings. So a bit of construction out there causing some delays, and it's on the eastbound 401 through Markham Road in the Express. It's pretty slow through here. Crews have just finished laying down the cones and taking those 2 left lanes away. So heads up for that. We still have a crash that's blocking the eastbound 407 ramp to the 427, and the ramp to Leslie is still blocked off of the westbound 401. This is just for construction. Northbound 400 ramp to the 407. Doesn't matter which direction you want to go, you just can't get onto the 407 from the northbound 400 tonight. Doing some construction along the 400 approaching 89, and also southbound 400 approaching 89. This one southbound, you just have a single right lane squeezing by, but everything seems up to speed. Northbound Huron-Ontario ramp onto the eastbound QEW, that's also been shut down. Southbound Markham Road and both directions Ellesmere at this intersection is still closed for police investigation. Saving for retirement doesn't have to be scary. Talk to an advisor at Alterna Savings about the best plan for you. Visit alterna.ca to book an appointment. Alterna Savings, discover the good in banking. Your next report is at 10:31 with the forecast. Here's Natasha Ramsahai.
We've got a northwest breeze this evening up to 20 kilometers per hour, so that's still going to drive in a few weak lake effect flurries at times here across the city. Tomorrow, we've got that wind out of the southwest now, gusting up to 40 kilometers per hour. There will be more cloud than today, but still staying dry, with some sunny breaks as well, and a high of -2, feeling like -8. Wednesday morning's wind chill, just for -12, but the afternoon, pretty nice, mainly sunny and 2 degrees. Thursday and Friday, both days mainly cloudy and a high of 2 degrees each day. In fact, we should stay dry right through the week until Saturday evening. Tonight, we're down to a low of -9.
Right now in downtown Toronto, -6, and clear at Pearson Airport. It is partly cloudy and -6.
680 News Time, 10:23.
On January 24th, the Today Showstopper at TSC will be the HP 15.6-inch touchscreen notebook with Intel's i3 processor, a 128-gig solid-state drive, and 2 years tech support. 2020 is your year to go thin, light, and fast with multitasking and entertainment in this exclusive TSC bundle. Watch for it on January 24th when it's the Today Showstopper. Shop TSC.ca. Today's shopping choice.
What you need
When you need it. 680 News.
680 News Time, 10:24. Prince Harry says there is great sadness, but he's optimistic that he, his wife Meghan, and their son Archie will be able to live a more peaceful life after cutting almost all their royal ties. ABC's James Longman reports Harry's comments at a charity dinner in London were his first public remarks since the announcement that he and Meghan would no longer be working as royals and move part-time to Canada.
It's clear this is not how he wanted things to go. He defended his wife Meghan, saying she's the same woman that he fell in love with, and he said when they were married, they were excited, they were ready to serve. How things have changed.
Harry also took aim at the journalists who have dissected his life since the day he was born. He and Meghan will now be able to pick and choose media opportunities on a strategic basis and won't have to participate in events covered by
when you have a product
royal
right?
reporters. A gay pastor who was ousted by a downtown Lutheran church is now back in. The CBC reports Ralph Karl Wuschke has been named the new pastor of the First Evangelical Lutheran Church in Toronto. It comes after almost 30 years of being shunned by the church due to his sexuality. Wuschke is the first to be reinstated since the church's mandated change back in 2011. He says he always knew he wanted to be a pastor and that being welcomed back is a culmination of a lifelong dream. Coming up in 60 seconds, we'll check in with Richard Sutton at the Business Center.
680 News Time, 10:25.
Beautiful and ready for adventure. The Dominican Republic is waiting for you. Enjoy an unforgettable holiday on the famous Caribbean beaches or its internationally renowned golf courses. The Dominican Republic has it all. Go to DominicanRepublic.com to discover more.
When it comes to performing your best, you watch what you eat. You stay as active as possible. And you know the importance of a good night's sleep. But what about the chair you sit in all day? If you sit while you work, your office chair has a significant effect on your health and productivity. Ergocentric office chairs are recommended by 94% of
How about an office chair to work? People would
more. Visit ergocentric.com. Or better yet, get up and visit our showroom store at the King Edward Hotel.
Follow in the footsteps of Christopher Columbus and discover the beauty of the Dominican Republic. Walk on the beaches of Puerto Plata or explore the capital of Santo Domingo. The Dominican Republic has it all. Go to DominicanRepublic.com to discover more.
680 News Time, 10:26.
Now the business report brought to you by Numero Uno Web Solutions. It's Richard Southern.
Good evening. It's a story we're following here on 680 tonight because it's a big story. China fighting to stop the spread of a mysterious deadly virus, just as millions in the country plan to travel for Chinese New Year. It's a SARS-like respiratory illness that has spread to more than 200 people, killing 4 of them. And we're seeing that concern about this reflected on financial markets. The news has triggered a big surge for pharmaceutical stocks, more than a dozen of which shot up some 10% on the Shanghai Exchange this morning. That's the maximum amount allowed on that particular exchange. A big index in China that tracks.
Didn't Trudeau say he liked the way the Chinese could stop their economy on a dime or whatever?
Face masks, boy, makes you think back to 2003 and the SARS crisis, which of course had a big impact on our local economy here, particularly on hotels. Hopefully, we're not looking at anything like that. There has been no cases of this illness in Canada as of yet. Bay Street, some better news here. Bay Street, record high again. TSX up 38 points, 17,597. The 6th straight winning day, 6th straight record-breaking day. With the TSX now up 3.1% on the new year. Not too shabby. Bombardier leading the way today, up almost 9%. Some of the cannabis names continue their comeback. Free up 2%, $7.02. Wall Street closed for a holiday. Meantime, airlines feeling the pressure of flight shaming. Growing environmental movement has highlighted airlines' carbon footprint, putting pressure on carriers to reduce their greenhouse emissions. The movement affecting the bottom lines of some airlines. SAS out of Scandinavia has attributed declining passenger numbers to flight shaming. And to combat this trend, a number of airlines now returning to carbon offsets, whereby the investment projects such as wind farms to offset their carbon dioxide emissions. Canadian dollar, 76.65 cents US. This is 680 News.
Hey, John, how's your business doing? Numero uno. I don't understand. I thought you said your business needed help getting more customers.
Numero uno. What do you mean, numero uno? I mean, the guys at Numero Uno helped turn my business around. With their simple online strategies, I have more leads, more customers, more sales than ever.
Wow. Sounds like the Numero Uno guys really know their stuff.
That's why they're Numero Uno.
To see how Numero Uno can get your business more customers, visit NumeroUnoWeb.com today. That's NumeroUnoWeb.com.
Aaron Park. Jenny, what's the best part of buying a car through Aaron Park Lexus?
The customer service. I'm a salesperson, so I use Lexus as a comparison to giving good customer service.
It's that standard of excellence, right?
Yes, and I actually talk about the Lexus experience with customer service reps in our company that we're training.
Aaron Park.
Now during January, get $2,000 incentive on all 2020 RX 350s with 1.9% lease rates up to 39 months.
Aaron Park.
It's time for the 680 News Business Travelers Forecast, brought to you by OFX Global Money Transfers. OFX are global money transfer specialists. From businesses selling globally to individuals investing overseas. Transact across borders with confidence. It's how the world moves money. More at OFX.com.
Well, are you headed to Miami tomorrow? Lucky you, clear and a high of 14 degrees. Chicago, partly cloudy, -5. And Las Vegas, good luck, partly cloudy and a high of 10 tomorrow. 680 News Time, 10:30.
Number one for news in Toronto. This is 680 News.
Here are Scott Burnett and Caitlin Lee. Good evening. It's Monday, January 20th.
Here's what's making news this hour.
A young male is dead following a daylight shooting in Scarborough. One person in custody as police continue the investigation.
The Public Health Agency says it's taking additional safety measures at international airports in Canada, including Pearson, after Chinese authorities confirm a new strain of the coronavirus can be transmitted from human to human.
A pedestrian has been killed in the collision in Mississauga. It happened on Dixie, just north of the 401, leaving rush hour traffic in the area a mess.
It was a rough training process, but they were graduating. York Regional Police welcomed 2 new canines to the force.
Norman Powell leads the Raptors to a win
Apparently they don't have to pay
against
for
the
it.
Hawks, as we'll get you caught up on day 2 action at the Australian Open. Sports at 45.
Red hot Bay Street, TSX settles at another record high. We're looking at what's been driving the rally so far. Wall Street closed for a holiday today. Business at 56.
680, it was rough. 680 News Time, 10:31. That's fantastic.
Time for traffic and weather together on the ones. Hello, Craig Gear.
Hi, I'm left out of the joke. I want to be brought in next time. This report is brought to you by Hakeem Optical. So a bit of construction out there, eastbound 401. We were seeing delays at Markham Indy Express. The 2 left lanes were blocked through here, and crews just finishing up setting down the cones and closing these lanes. So it's pretty much up to speed through here again. So that's some good news. We still have a crash that's blocking the East 407 ramp to the 427. It's the left lane that's blocked on this ramp. So you can still use the ramp, but we have a crash that's blocking the left lane. Construction has closed the ramp to Leslie off of the westbound 401, and the northbound Hurontario ramp onto the eastbound QEW that's also shut down for construction. Crews working along the east QE through Hurontario. They have that right lane blocked off. Still with a police investigation that's blocking traffic at Ellesmere and Markham Road. So Ellesmere is blocked both directions. Southbound Markham Road is closed. If you are southbound on Markham Road, once you come up to it, you're getting forced onto Progress, and westbound Ellesmere traffic is getting forced northbound onto Markham Road. And if you're eastbound at this intersection, you're just getting forced to turn around. The intersection's not very heavily traveled right now.
Westbound.
It's Hakeem Optical's big winter sale. All Hakeem designer frames and lenses start from only $50 each when you buy 2 pairs. Visit HakeemOptical.ca today. Your next report is at 10:41 with the forecast. Natasha Ramza, hi.
We're digging out of the extreme cold and back to seasonal as we head into Tuesday. We'll start the day off at -9. Just watch for some lake effect flurries tonight. No accumulation expected. And tomorrow, a mix of sun and cloud, a high of -2. It's going to feel like -8 with that west-southwest breeze up to 40 kilometers per hour. Overnight tonight, we're down to a low of -9 degrees, wind chill -13.
And right now in downtown Toronto, clear -6, feeling like -13. 680 News Time, 10:33.
Toronto police are investigating a deadly daylight shooting in Scarborough. A teenage boy was killed.
680's Michelle Mackey is at Markham Road in Ellesmere with the details.
Inspector Susan Gomes with Toronto Police says this was a brazen daytime shooting, with police responding to multiple gunshot calls just after 3 p.m.
Shortly thereafter, within 20 minutes, one young person was in custody. Since then, the young victim has succumbed to his injuries. We're in the process of notifying his family.
Anyone with information is urged to contact police or Crime Stoppers.
If you have been in the area operating a motor vehicle, if you could send that dashboard camera, we'd like to have a look at that as well.
The Toronto Police Homicide Squad has now taken over the investigation. In Scarborough, I'm Michelle Mackey.
680 News Time, 10:34. Canada's Public Health Agency says it will be taking more safety measures at international airports across the country, including Pearson. This after China confirmed a new strain of coronavirus can be transmitted from human to human.
I want to know which airports you're
people
not doing
died
this
from the
at.
virus in China. As 680's Phil Martino tells us, with the Chinese New Year just days away, this week is the
What about all the
start
Chinese
of the
people
busiest
landing in the
travel
U.S.
season.
and they're crossing the border on a bus or
Chief
something?
Public Health
Got nothing for
Officer
that?
says the government of Canada is actively monitoring the outbreak of coronavirus.
While the risk of the disease spreading to Canada is considered low, the Public Health Agency of Canada is analyzing any potential risks to Canadians on a continuous basis. Currently, there are no reports of cases in Canada of this novel coronavirus.
The Chief Public Health Officer says in the coming days they'll be taking additional measures at international airports in Canada. This includes signage at Pearson, Montreal, and Vancouver, reminding international travelers to inform a border services officer if they're experiencing flu-like symptoms. Plus, an additional health screening question will be added to electronic kiosks in these airports. I'm Phil Martino.
To Mississauga, where a pedestrian has died after being struck by a vehicle on Dixie Road north of the 401 this afternoon. 680's Mark Douglas reports.
A 65-year-old man was pronounced dead in hospital, with the resulting investigation making for a rush hour traffic nightmare. The collision happened around 2 p.m. right here on Dixie at Shawson Drive, the first street north of the 401. Constable Bancroft Wright from Peel Regional Police says it looks like the pedestrian was hit by a coffee service pickup truck, and as a result, all the northbound lanes of Dixie had to be closed at Shawson.
During the point of impact, there could be objects that may have fallen a certain distance.
The driver did stay at the scene. No decision yet on any possible charges, and no word from investigators yet as to how this happened. From Dixie and Shawson Drive in Mississauga, I'm Mark Douglas.
680 News Time, 10:36. A preliminary hearing for the man accused in the brutal slayings of 4 of his family members got underway at the Newmarket Courthouse today. Manal Zaman charged with 4 counts of first-degree murder.
Zaman's 50-year-old mother, his 59-year-old father, his 70-year-old grandmother, and 21-year-old sister, Melissa, were all found dead inside their Castlemore Avenue home in Markham last July 28th. One of Melissa's closest friends had never met the accused before the murders and felt compelled to come to court today.
When I saw him today, it was surreal. I mean, looking into his eyes, I couldn't believe it. I felt so many emotions all at once.
Because this is a preliminary hearing, the evidence presented in court is subject to a publication ban. So there's little we can tell you about what happened here today. It's not clear how long the proceeding will last, but it has been scheduled for 7 days. I'm Pam Sina for City News.
Canadian Forces personnel continue to help dig out as the state of emergency resulting from a massive snowstorm in St. John's, Newfoundland stretched into its 4th day today. Defense Minister Harjit Sajjan says the military will remain in the provincial capital as long as needed and could also send in reinforcements if necessary.
The Canadian Forces will always be there at the time of need. If that need changes and we need more or need other types of equipment, those assessments will be done on the ground, and I've given the flexibility to the chain of command to be able to make those decisions very quickly and get the resources in to those Canadians who are affected.
A major blizzard that started Friday dumped 76 centimeters of snow on eastern regions of Newfoundland, largely paralyzing the city of St. John's.
We're hearing from the education minister after the first of several one-day walkouts this week by public elementary teachers. Stephen Lecce says these strikes are hurting kids.
I've been very clear that the government, the Crown, myself, we stand ready to negotiate when the mediator, the Ministry of Labour mediator, brings the parties together.
ETFO President Sam Hammond says if Lecce does not want these rotating strikes to continue, he needs to be prepared to bargain on the real issues, while the province has continued to maintain that it's about wages, Hammond says it's really about e-learning and larger class sizes.
And it was graduation day for two special canines north of the city. York and Hucks are the newest additions to the York Regional Police Services. The 1-year-old German Shepherds earned their badges after successfully completing their basic canine training course, which focused on tracking, building, and area searches and evidence location. York's canine unit is made up of 15 dogs and 13 full-time handlers. The team's also responsible for tasks like tracking fleeing suspects and searching for missing people.
What do you do with the 2 other dogs?
In 30 seconds, we'll check gas prices.
680 News Time, 10:39.
It's nice to have a guarantee that your money will grow because your kids are guaranteed to grow.
Mom, my shoes are too small.
Thankfully, HSBC Bank offers a GIC with 2.18% interest, so you'll be ready for anything.
Mom, my shoes are too small.
Again? Take a step towards financial wellness today. Get 2.18% per annum on a 218-day non-redeemable GIC for new deposits. For full details, visit hsbc.ca/grow. HSBC Bank. Together we thrive.
Now the 680 News gas price update. Enpro predicts the price will not change at midnight, holding at $1.14.9 a liter at most GTA stations. We'll check traffic and weather in 1 minute.
680 News Time, 10:40.
If you work hard and play harder, then the Covenant House Guts and Glory Team Obstacle Challenge is for you. This unique athletic fundraiser will help homeless youth while building team spirit and pushing individual limits. 45 teams of 6 will compete in the ultimate face-off. 10 top obstacles will test your speed, agility, strength,
sleep on the street for a week without your ID.
Do you have the guts? It's all about the glory. Raise more than your heart rate this February. Learn more at gutsglorychallenge.ca.
Absolutely incredible. That's what you'll say when visiting Royal Lighting's huge Midtown showroom and see the fabulous savings on hundreds upon hundreds of the latest lighting styles. Royal Lighting features the best styles in chandeliers, floor and table lamps, wall and ceiling fixtures, ceiling fans, vanity and outdoor lighting. Royal Lighting's professionally trained staff will help you find the perfect light at the perfect price. Perfect price. Royal Lighting, 1549 Avenue Road, north of Lawrence.
680 News Time at 10:41.
Time for traffic and weather together on the ones. Here's Craig Gear.
This report is brought to you by Greater Toronto Airport Authority. So a bit of construction out there, eastbound along the 401 through Markham Road in the Express. 2 left lanes are blocked, but everything seems to be up to speed. Eastbound 407 ramp to the 427. The left lane on this ramp is blocked by a collision cleanup that's underway. So heads up through there. Westbound 401 ramp to Leslie completely closed. This is for construction. Doing some construction along the westbound 407, just looks to be approaching Dundas. The right lane is blocked, and that's also blocking the eastbound Dundas ramp onto the westbound 407 tonight. So more construction has the northbound Huron-Ontario ramp onto the eastbound QEW shut down for maintenance as well. They were doing some emergency construction on the South 404 approaching the 401 that was blocking the HLB lane, but it looks like they've wrapped that up. A few other lane restrictions here and there, but nothing that's causing any problems. It looks like we had a crash up in the Barrie area on the northbound 400 approaching ESSA, slowing things down up there. Have you heard of the Union Station West Transit Hub? It could help you save time, reduce your carbon footprint, and beat the traffic. Details at unionstationwest.ca. Your next report is at 10:51 with forecast. Here's Natasha Ramzahai.
Temperatures tonight down to -9. We do have a few lake effect flurries in place through this evening and overnight, even into tomorrow morning and through the west end. But tomorrow should be dry for Toronto, a mix of sun and clouds, southwest wind up to 40 kilometers per hour, a high of -2, feeling like -8. And it's going to be a pretty nice afternoon on Wednesday, mainly sunny and 2 degrees. Just watch that morning wind chill. It's going to sit right around -12. Overnight tonight, we're down to a low of -9 degrees.
Right now in downtown Toronto, mostly clear skies, sitting at -6 degrees. That wind chill, though, feeling like -14. At Pearson right now, clear at -9, feeling like -16. 680 News Time, 10:43.
Federal Public Safety Minister Bill Blair says the Canadian government is committed to living up to the Liberal election campaign promise to reduce gun violence in the country. But at a cabinet retreat in Winnipeg, Blair suggested some new measures, including prohibiting certain weapons that might not be launched right away.
Certainly the issue of dealing effectively as quickly as possible with prohibiting certain types of weapons, which are perhaps have the greatest threat and the most dangerous. Some of the other work will take a little bit bit more time.
Meantime, government House Leader Pablo Rodriguez
type of
says
fucking weapons aren't
ratifying the
already
new trade deal
controlled
with the U.S. and Mexico will be a key priority for the Liberals as MPs return to work in the House of Commons next week. In 60 seconds, we'll have your headlines.
680 News Time, 10:44.
Does advertising with 680 News work? Well, things seem to be flowing well for Stan Cleany from Roto-Rooter Plumbing and Drain Service.
Things are going great. We've been so successful with our plumbing and drain part of the business, advertising on 680 News. We thought we'd advertise our new flood and sewer cleanup and restoration business.
And how is that working?
The phone's been ringing, and we've seen a tremendous increase in our sales.
Speaking of sales, how do you like working with your account manager at 680 News?
He's helped us out in every avenue of the business. I should almost bring him on as an employee.
And how about all the writers and producers?
It's always difficult to get the message out to the public. The creative teams helped us out in many ways and helped us get to where we are today.
Well, it can't be easy to stay on top in today's competitive market.
Well, there's always competition, but we try to stay one step above them. The new advertising is working great, and we continue to be number one in the number two business. 680 News has really helped us. We are definitely flushed with success.
Unclog your bottom line and clean up the competition with 680 News. Call 680 News Advertising at 416-935-NEWS. That's 416-935-NEWS.
This is All News Radio, 680 News.
It is -7 and clear, feeling like a chilly -14. Good evening from the 680 News Broadcast Center in downtown Toronto. I'm Keelan Lee.
I'm Scott Burnett. Here are the top stories this hour.
One person is in police custody and a teenage boy is dead after a brazen daylight shooting near Markham and Ellesmere in Scarborough. Police are looking for any witnesses after shots rang out around 3 o'clock this afternoon. And 4 people have died from a new coronavirus in China. We're now hearing it can be transmitted from person to person. Canada's Public Health Agency is taking extra precautions at international airports to prevent an outbreak here at home, including at Pearson. And still to come on 680 News, Malaysia cracking down on illegal shipments of plastic garbage headed their way. 680 News Time, 10:45. Now time for 680 Sports, brought to you by the Toronto International Boat Show. From Sportsnet 590 to Fan, here's Rob Wong.
Well, Kaylin, you can make it 4 straight wins for the Raptors as they beat the Hawks 122-117 in Atlanta. Norman Powell scoring a team-high 27 points. It was his 5th straight 20-plus point effort.
I'm confident in my game and confident in my shots. Taking the shots when I get to my spots and living with the results. I've said that many times. Just live with the results and let instincts take over and just play.
Fred VanVleet added 20 as the Raptors now get set to host Philadelphia on Wednesday. 4 Canadians in action at the Australian Open today, and one is on the court at the moment. It's Felix Auger-Aliassime looking to move on to round number 2. Currently up 5-4 against Ernest Gulbis in the first sets, but Auger-Aliassime up break looking to serve this first set out. Earlier, Milos Raonic advanced to round number 2 with a 3-set win over Lorenzo Giustino of Italy. Tough news for Toronto FC. They opened up training camp today and had to announce that Captain Michael Bradley will undergo surgery tomorrow for an ankle injury. He could miss up to 4 months. And in the NHL, 2 games in the books. The Panthers with a 5-4 win over Minnesota as the Avalanche doubled up Detroit 6-3. Sports at 15 and 45 past every hour or anytime on the home of Tim and Sid, now on TV and radio. Sportsnet 590 The Fan.
680 News Time, 10:47.
We are summer. Are you ready? Are you ready?
It's on now. North America's largest indoor boat show. Take Go Transit to the show. Save time and money with Go Combo tickets. The Toronto International Boat Show, presented by the Toronto Star. January 17th to 26th at the Enercare Center.
We are summer. Are you ready?
Are you ready?
The Toronto Boat Show.
Visit TorontoBoatShow.com. We're back. Steven for the win. What's smarter? Getting honey from a wasp nest or leasing a new 2020 Honda Civic LX from just $66 weekly at 3.99% in 0 down, including the $750 Honda bonus at the Honda Drive Smart event.
Jerry, it's the Civic.
You're a smart cookie.
Thank you.
What's smarter brought to you by Honda, driven to reduce emissions since 1948. Includes freight and fees for 60 months. Taxes extra. OACC HondaOntario.com.
680 News Time, 10:48.
Officials in Malaysia are cracking down on illegal shipments of plastic garbage inundating their country.
The country of Malaysia is shipping back containers of plastic waste. The environment minister says their position is they just want to send the waste back and give the message that Malaysia is not the dumping site of the world. Shipments have been rerouted to Southeast Asia since China banned the import of plastic waste in 2018. But now Malaysia and other developing countries are fighting back. Malaysia returned 150 shipping containers totaling over 4,000 tons of waste to 13 countries, including France, Britain, and the United States. And they report shuttering more than 200 illegal plastic recycling factories. I'm Jennifer King.
And the Trudeau government in its second day of a 3-day federal cabinet retreat in Winnipeg.
As ministers prepare for the first full legislative sitting of this minority government, Deputy Prime Minister Chrystia Freeland says one of the first orders of business will be to debate and ratify the new NAFTA.
Very important for millions of Canadian workers, of Canadian businesses, of Canadian families.
Another focus is new gun control measures and the promise to ban assault rifles and let cities ban handguns. But Public Safety Minister Bill Blair is now hinting they may take a more phased-in approach.
Prioritizing the things that we can do quickly and the things that will take more time.
The government is also emphasizing new climate change initiatives and hoping to bridge the divide with prairie provinces over the federal carbon pricing plan. The spring sitting of Parliament begins next week. Cormac McSweeney, Parliament Hill.
680 News Time 1049, and it turns out beer is not just traditional in Germany. Scientists have revealed ancient Chinese people were working hard to create the perfect recipe for the beverage 6,000 years ago. Researchers studied shards used for transporting beer, wine, and grain and found remnants of prehistoric beer as well as evidence of 2 clear methods used to brew the alcohol. One method was employed to use malts made of sprouted millet, grass seeds, and rice, producing low alcohol drinks. In 60 seconds, we'll check the roads as well as your extended forecast.
680 News Time, 10:50.
New York, New York. The city is so nice they named it twice. But they should have named it 5 times for all its 5 boroughs. Manhattan, Queens, Staten Island, the Bronx, and Brooklyn. Explore all 5. So much to see with so many non-stop flights a day on Porter Airlines. Just name your time and book at flyporter.com/NY. Porter, flying refined.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate online at carsforkids.ca. That's cars with a K. Pick up is quick and easy. You'll benefit a child and get a maximum tax credit.
1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Also accepting boats, motorcycles, RVs, and truck donations. 10:51.
Time for traffic and weather together on the ones. Here's Craig here.
This report is brought to you by 407 ETR, and we still have a crash cleanup underway. That is blocking a ramp onto the eastbound 407. It's the ramp to off of the eastbound 407, I should say, to the 427. The left lane is blocked, so you can still use the ramp, but that left lane is blocked, so it's a little bit of a tight squeeze. The rest of the routes are up to speed. I'm not seeing any problems. We had that crash, it looked like, on the northbound 400 up in the Barrie area. It's all cleared away. We have the west 407 ramp to Leslie shut down for some overnight construction. The eastbound Dundas ramp onto the westbound 407, that's also closed down. And the northbound Huron-Ontario ramp onto the eastbound QEW shut down for some overnight road work as well. A few lanes are restricted across the board just for some overnight construction, but everything's up to speed going through all the highways. Just taking a look at Ellesmere and Markham, it looks like this intersection, we still have some lanes blocked here for a police investigation, so both directions, Ellesmere at the intersection blocked, southbound Markham Road is closed. 407 ETR saves drivers 30 million hours of time each year, giving you more time for the things that matter most to you. Visit 407etr.com.
Your next report is at 11:01, and with the forecast, here's Natasha Ramzahali.
That doesn't sound
Temperatures tonight down to -9. Watch for some lake effect flurries on and off, pretty weak in nature here into the city. But we'll start off with wind chills of -13, a mix of sun and cloud in the afternoon, a high of -2. It is going to feel like -8 because we do have this breeze tomorrow up to about 40 kilometers per hour out of the southwest. Now, Wednesday morning wind chill around -12, so dress for that as you head out the door. But the afternoon, pretty mild, mainly sunny, above seasonal now at 2 degrees. And in fact, 2 is the lucky number. It's going to be 2 on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Should be dry Wednesday through Friday, but Saturday morning, a cloudy start. We'll be watching the evening for the return to some wet snow. Overnight tonight, we're down to low -9 degrees.
Right?
And right now, downtown, we're looking at a clear sky, but it's a cold one, -7. The wind chill sitting at -14. At Pearson this hour, -9, feeling like -16.
680 news time, 10:53.
This extended forecast is brought to you by Cold Drops.
One drop for temporary relief of sore throat and nasal congestion. Cold Drops are available at Metro pharmacies near you. This product may not be right for you. Always read and follow the label.
Over the years, one develops a personal network. An accountant, lawyer, financial planner. Why not an automotive advisor? Since 1958, Audi Queensway has provided discerning GTA drivers with expert advice and attractive incentives.
Right now, enjoy a $5,000 Audi Quattro credit on a 2019 Q7 and a complimentary mix package.
I'm Chris Lang,
Well, I had
General
nothing
Manager.
important to
My
say.
first piece of advice,
I don't know
visit
if this
to
matters.
1635 The Queensway or AudiQueensway.ca. Drive well, drive safe.
Allows you to taste a vast menu of
My
flavors
connection
from all
ain't
over
stable. The
Asia
box
for
is
lunch,
fucked
dinner,
up.
and or
What's going on?
takeout.
Visit 680news.com for your chance to win and to sign up for the Insider Club.
Jazz saxophone legend Jimmy Heath has passed.
He continued to write music, including most of the material for the Playboys album by Chet Baker and Art Pepper. He recorded with Miles
Anything
Davis,
that'll
John
fucking work on
Coltrane,
this
and his
fucking
own
thing?
family as the Heath Brothers. He was named a jazz master by the National Endowment for the Arts in 2003. I'm Archie Zaraletta.
In
So every
60
time I do that,
seconds, we'll have
freeze.
in at the Business Center with Richard Sether.
680 news time, 10:55.
Hi, it's Ivanka Osmak. Normally, I'm a sports anchor for Sportsnet, but today I'm spreading the news about Sleep Country's Aquagel pillow. To be honest, I've never even heard of a gel pillow before their sleep experts suggested I try it out, and I am glad they did. The pillow is so comfortable. It's made with a water-based gel, so it's a super breathable alternative to memory foam that cradles your neck and keeps you cool. I've always been a little picky about my pillow, but that was totally embraced when I went to Sleep Country. Their sleep
Oh, the
experts
clock's
are
frozen, too.
sleep
This is
obsessed. It was amazing to see all the options they could recommend based on just a few things I told them about my sleeping habits. So really, no matter how you sleep, I'm sure they'll be able to
Richard Sether.
Good evening. Netflix
Holy
says it's
fuck,
interested
no,
in
this is
working
possible.
with Prince Harry and Meghan Markle after they put the royal family, after ditching their royal title, will be free to strike. Look good about that. The Netflix chief confiser says, yeah, it's interested. Meghan has retained her Hollywood team of agents and publicists and is reportedly in discussions about future show business projects.